I agree with Eddie Hearn. Can you believe I just said that? I agree with Eddie Hearn. Let's turn to.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you like me to go over everything. They say the time's supposed to heal you. I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were
Like this next.
and free. I remember how it felt before the world fell at our feet. There's no difference between us, a million miles. Say hello from the other side. I must have tried 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart when I called you. Never seem to be home. Hello from the other side. At least I can say that I tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart. It don't matter, it clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore.
Yes,
Hello,
I agree with Eddie Hearn.
how are you?
Welcome
It's
to
so
Boxing Fan
typical
Talks
of
TV.
me to talk
I'm your
about
host, TT.
myself
You can
and
refer to
stars.
me as
I hope
y'all see the numbers
that
down the
you
bottom of the
well.
screen. To all my
And did you
Facebookers,
ever
shout out
make
to
it
y'all.
out of that
Thank y'all
town
for
when
tuning in
nothing
on Facebook.
ever
I
happened?
would love
It's
to
no
see you in
secret
my studio.
that
So
the
go to your
both
YouTube
of
channel
us
and
are
get in the chat.
running
Let
out
yourself
of
know. The
time.
number to call in is
Say
706
hello from the
804
other side.
706
I must have
804
tried 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry
Catherine said
for
this was that I agree with Eddie Hearn, which I do, which is rare. You know, it's rare for me to agree with this man. For all of y'all who don't know who Eddie Hearn is, he's the owner of Matchroom. He's from the UK. He's a promoter and he works with the zone. He works with a lot of people, but he brought the zone over here thinking that they was gonna take over boxing, and then they had to tuck tail and take it back across the pond. However, I do have the zone. I have a subscription to them, but a lot of people didn't get it as they expected. But for instance, the fight that's coming up this weekend between Anthony Joshua and Usyk, that will be on the zone. It's not going to be on your regular cable channels. It's going to be on the zone. But like I always say, the boxing gods, they be looking out for us. They be looking out for us sometimes because they will go ahead and upload a video of the fight. So most people gonna catch it anyway. But some people know how to stream, so that's what's up. But before I get into all of that, I got a little continuation from yesterday. And I want to bring you guys into a video. Let me get it straight. So remember we was talking about what Caleb Plant did. I showed you a little bit of that press conference. So here's a continuation, like after the press conference. Fight Hype, I guess, had an interview with Caleb, and just check him out. Check out what he said.
Gonna heal pretty
Yeah, it's
fast.
just a scratch from my glasses. I had my glasses on, so when impact got made, it just left a scratch on it across the skin, and I didn't want it to be, you know what I'm saying, just tripping on it.
Yeah.
People have really not tried to get inside his head that much. Was that something you noticed over the years that people have just kind of
Scared
backed
of
off
it.
from him? Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
pre-fight. I mean, have you noticed that?
I mean, I think most guys go into the fight against him feeling like they're already going to lose, and my goal here today was not to overcompensate and go in the complete opposite direction. I just let him know I'm going to win, and then he motherfucker, he was saying the same thing to Boo Boo Andre. I'm gonna kick your ass, motherfucker.
Facts.
But someone else says motherfucker to him, then they're talking about his mom. You get what I'm saying? It's the same shit that he said to Boo Boo Andre, right?
Facts.
Motherfucker.
100%.
So, but then all of a sudden when I say it, I'm talking about his mom. So, no, that don't add up. Does that add up? No.
It
And with
don't.
all the BS aside, as far as what's happening and all that, in the ring, Canelo, what does he bring to the ring, style wise?
Let me pause right here. So they brought up the fact that he's, when he called Canelo Alvarez a motherfucker, right? Now we all in America use that word loosely. A lot of us use it. It ain't just reserved for one group of people. We in the black community use it a lot. And there's a comedian out there that explained how we can use it as a noun, a verb, an adjective, all kinds of parts to speech. But we use it a lot. It doesn't mean what it literally says, which is a motherfucker. It doesn't mean that you're fucking your mom. It just doesn't mean that. It can be used in the term of endearment. It can be used depending on the content of which somebody is saying it. It could be a negative thing. Now, that's how I think Caleb used it. Kind of like how we in Americans use it. Canelo got mad and said, "Don't say that. Don't say that about my mom. You know, uh, I'll fuck you all up. Like he talked like he don't understand English or he put his words together. And English is not his first language. However, he been over in this country long enough, over a decade. He should know how to use a lot of English words. What he was mad about, he was deflecting. He was mad that in a press conference, Caleb challenged him. He called him out. He called him a drug cheat and all kinds of stuff. That's what he was mad at. But he can't go to war and push the guy, try to fight him, or do anything like that just because you call him a drug cheat. He don't want that to be the record. So he want to say he was defending his mom's honor. As you just heard Caleb say, come on, dog, stop with the BS.
I don't care what he brings to the ring. I'm not focused on what he brings to the ring. I'm focused on what I bring to the ring.
What will you do to be victorious? What will be the difference?
The difference, I'm the better fighter. That's the difference. So November 6th, if you want to see the details, you guys make sure you tune in, and it's going to be fireworks.
It seems like you have an advantage in speed. We've seen guys use movement and stuff to kind of trouble him before. What do you kind of do to make sure that you can kind of, are you guys doing anything different in camp, I guess, to make sure that you can kind of stay sharp in the second half of the fight and kind of not, maybe make the kind of mistake that Saunders did?
Nothing no different than any other camp we've done. We're not going to switch up everything we do for somebody. Again, we're focused on what we do and how we do things. So we don't switch everything up just because, we're stepping up you don't start training like a world champion after you become a world champion. You start training like a world champion to become a world champion. And that's something I've done my whole career from my pro debut till now. And I don't train any harder for bigger fights or little smaller fights. I give my craft my best effort every camp, and that's what we're going to do this camp.
Do you think he's been a different fighter at 168 than he was lower?
In what way?
Do you think there's any difference in the way he, conducts himself or takes punches or punches at 168 than before?
Mm,
From what you can tell?
not that.
The one thing you've never shied away from, and you talked about it up there, is that self-confidence is going to carry you to victory in life. When was it in your life that you knew, like, if I can believe in something, it's going to manifest itself in reality?
And then started at an age where I felt like, man, if I do believe in myself, then it will happen. It's just something that I've always done. I just always believed in it. It wasn't like, well, if you believe in it, then it'll happen. It's like, it's just a true belief that I have. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to, it's like, everyone's saying that I'm talking all this shit, but he talked a lot of shit today too. But even before today, it's like he's talking all this shit, but because I feel like I'm going to win, am I supposed to just come here and keep my fingers crossed and hope that I do well on fight night? Has any great that you've ever heard of just keep their fingers crossed and hope that they do good, and we'll see the outcome, or they tell you what they're going to go out and do and hold themselves to that standard and go out and do it.
And
I'm a winner.
Yeah.
I'm a winner. That's why I'm here.
Acts.
My whole life, I've conquered things way bigger than boxing, things that would chew him up and spit him out, and any of you as well. And I come out with it with my chin up. I'm a winner. That's what I do as I win. So watch and see.
I think the other thing that's in play is that, like you mentioned it, other guys may have shied away from the issue of Oscar Valdez and the Eddie Reynoso jib, but you chose to say what you said. That's a byproduct of the confidence that you have and the fact that you're going to say what's on your mind and not be muzzled, not be edited in any way, right?
No, if you feel something in your heart, you should say it. If you truly believe in it, and you should say it out loud, because if you continue to silence your inner warrior, eventually that warrior will just fade away.
Does the way he reacted to that tell you anything?
It seemed like he was roid raging to me, So I don't know. I think the roid.
He said he seemed like he had roid, like i.e. steroid rage. That dude has no chill, and I love it. That's how he's supposed to be. A lot of people coming in there giving too much respect to Canelo because he's the big fish right now. But remember when Floyd was the big fish? Canelo didn't respect him at all. He still got his ass whooped, but he didn't respect him at all. So Floyd sunned him.
It's just starting to get to him. I don't know what it's doing.
How much thought went into wanting to fight at this level, the super middleweight level? How much of that made your decision to finally go there?
Ask me one more time.
How much thought did you have to take to make a decision to go up to the super middleweight level?
He's always been super middleweight.
Yeah, I've always been a super middleweight
To
since
fight
my.
Canelo.
I mean, we were here first.
Yeah, we've been at
He
super
moved
middleweight.
up
He's
to
the one
us.
who moved up. So, I've been at this weight since my pro debut.
My
So,
mistake.
and I wasn't going to go nationals at 178. So, I've been at this weight for a long time.
Okay, you talk about your humble boxing origins in Nashville. What was your inspiration? Who you grew up looking up?
Well, like I said, there wasn't really a boxing community where I'm from, so I didn't get to see that firsthand. It's just what I seen on YouTube, and my dad when I first started, and then later on when we got with Justin. But growing up, people like James Toney and Roy Jones, and even Hector Camacho and Terry Norris and Georgie Benton, and I mean, it goes on and on and on. Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler,
Talk about his
just people that I
credentials.
really looked up to, and but even when I was at my lowest, at my worst point, I never wanted to be them guys. I just wanted to take certain parts, certain things that they did, and put them into my own.
And what was the moment when you really thought that I can make it like a good boxer? What was the moment, the key moment for you in your career?
When I first started,
The first fight?
when I was 9 years old, I said, this is what I'm going to be. I told you, I never wanted to be an astronaut. I didn't want to be no teacher, no firefighter. I wanted to be a fighter, and that's it.
What was the first big arena event fight that you attended either as a boxer or a spectator?
Last question, guys.
My,
Red
uh,
carpet. Thank you.
My second fight, I fought a national champion. My third fight, I went to Orlando and fought a multi-time national champion. And like I said, my dad stuck me in the fire early and made me stand there. And, I can remember me being the number one seed of the tournament, and my dad going to the commission the night before and pulled me as the number one seed and put me as the last seed and saying, my son wants to win this tournament and he's got to fight every day. He don't get no box. So, I mean, he put me in there early.
Caleb, boxing's been taking a lot of criticism. What does this fight represent for boxing, man?
Boxing's first undisputed super middleweight.
History.
Y'all heard it here first, right? So that was the after action report, I guess you could call it. I love this dude. Every time he gets in a video clip or something, I gotta see it. I love this dude's energy. I love what he feel he bringing to the table. As y'all saw my caption yesterday, the confidence of it all. That's how you should be. Don't give Canelo no respect, especially y'all black fighters out there. He not giving it to y'all. Y'all wasting y'all time giving this man respect. He's a cheater. He's a straight up cheater. So speaking of people like Canelo Alvarez and people around him. So sorry if I look down. Ryan Garcia, he's running his mouth again. I don't know if this dude get enough, but he sounds real stupid. I think the Canelo camp, as well as Mauricio Suleiman and all of them, they're trying to do revisionist history. Or they trying to do sensational writing or consensus writing. They all mean the same thing, where you take something and you try to make it be something else. So, for instance, we know the top echelon fighters of the past, whether they were heavyweight, middleweight, or welterweight, or whatever weight class. Okay. We also know that a lot of black fighters dominated boxing here in America. If you let the Mexicans tell it, and I'm talking about the ones who is involved with this boxing world, who's participating in this stuff. I ain't talking about the run of the mill, everyday Jose Blow. I'm talking about the ones like in the camps of some of these Mexican fighters. If you let them tell it, about 70 years from now, they will write the history as those were all Mexicans. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to have an era where all Mexicans dominate. It's not going to happen. But you're doing it in a way that you're stalling people out. How is that different when they didn't allow black people to fight even for the championship? For a long time, Jack Johnson couldn't fight for the championship. When Joe Louis fought, there was stipulations of him being a champion. He couldn't be happy. He couldn't gloat. He couldn't do none of that stuff, because of the racism and what it was in the early part of the 20th century. And here in Mexico trying to bring that back as if we're going to allow that. No. So, yes, this is not part of the caption of my show today, but I had to continue, because more stuff came out after I got off the show yesterday. Ryan Garcia is trying to run to his rescue and bump his gums, sounding stupid, trying to speak up for him, saying, after Canelo got a bitch slap, he whined about how it's not right to call someone a cheater when they never have. I was like, what? He's right there in the camp with them. You mean to tell me he doesn't know? The guy who wrote this article that I was reading, what about Ryan saying? He talking about something, well, maybe he don't know because he's young. Ryan is a grown ass man with 2 children. And then he was like, maybe he get a pass. No, he don't get a pass. He is an adult. He playing in adult games. I don't know how many children be making damn near $500,000 every time they fight. Ryan makes somewhere close to that, if not that. But he's an adult. He know what the fuck he's saying. And, the more he, in this line, the path that he's going down, I'm starting to have hate for him. Because he's acting like an idiot. Nigga, you is not as smart as everybody else. We see what's going on. You can't hit us with who you gonna believe, your lying eyes, or you gonna believe us. We choose not to believe y'all. We believe what our eyes show us and our ears tell us. You out here capping for Canelo, talking about something. You can't call somebody a cheater and it never happened. What? First of all, there's a lot of number ones on this one. First of all, number one, Canelo did pop dirty for clenbuterol, his A and B sample. They put him on 6 months suspension, which was nothing because he had just had a fight. So in other words, they try not to do much to him. They also, talking about the WBC, raised the level of a banned substance you can have in your body. Not for all the fighters, just the Mexicans, namely Canelo. So Ryan, when you gonna say some shit like that, make sure you telling the truth. Because you straight up lied to the American people or the people all around the world by saying he never cheated. You got damn right. As a fan, we gonna tell you who cheating. We gonna say that, hey, he's a cheater. Everything about him tells me he's a cheater. The fact that they gave him a slap on the wrist tells me even more that he's a cheater. And look what happened in his camp. Everybody around Eddie Renuso, as Caleb Plant like to call him, a fat ass bitch. Everybody around that dude is popping dirty. And you gonna stand up there and tell people it's not right to say that? How is it not right when it's the truth? The truth is never wrong to say. He irritates me at this point. Then he whined about Caleb Plant's disrespect. So let's get into that one. Oh, you mad because Caleb called him a bitch and a motherfucker? Was you mad when Canelo called Andrade a motherfucker? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, he called him a motherfucker. If he think that calling somebody a motherfucker means you talking about somebody's actual mother, then what the fuck was he doing when he called Andre in front of his daddy a motherfucker? Was you talking about his mama and that man's wife? Somebody you don't know who's not in the boxing world, who has never said nothing to you? Was you calling her a motherfucker? But you can call us a motherfucker. But we can't say nothing to you. Nigga, we don't bow down to you. Canelo. I don't care if you do got the complexion for the protection. We don't bow down to you. You ain't shit to us. You a cheater. And all of us repeating that shit. You are a cheater. Only people who not saying it is people that's, all up your butt crack. It's important for y'all to know as fans, you cannot allow that. This is not the sport to cheat. People's lives on the line. And if you're going to let one person cheat, then you got to let everybody cheat. But that's not the case. You have to be Mexican to get away with cheating. You going to tell me that's not the message that's being put out? He did pop. Ryan. Oh, weirdo. And Caleb was talking about him. And you ain't going to do no revisionist writing of history over here. We know how that go. You going to wipe out a whole person's historical value. They used to do it all the time. Spain was notorious for that. You go to Spain and you wonder how those castles got there. You won't hear shit about how the Moors conquered them for damn near 800 years. You'll never hear that shit. Because that can't be true. But what it was true though. And you gonna continue it. Y'all are not the second coming. Y'all are people like everybody else. Problem with some of y'all Mexicans, not all of y'all think y'all white. White people don't even be trying to have privileges white people had back in the 50s and the 40s. You think you better than the white man. You damn sure think you better than the black man. This shit is sickening. We don't think we better than y'all. We think we individuals who persevere to be better at whatever it is we want to do. We don't say we better than y'all, but that's damn sure the message y'all send it to us. And to that we say, fuck you. This dude is crazy, man. Like right after all that, here he come with the lion. Who the fuck? You been on this earth 22 years. What the fuck do you know, Ryan? You are really starting to get under people's skin with your punk ass. And you ain't gonna get no breaks. None. None to be had. Because you're an adult with 2 goddamn children. So why should we give you a break? You know what you're doing. You're playing with fire is what you're doing. And I hope Caleb Plant whacks Canelo ass. Y'all, this is an important fight. I don't usually buy no Canelo fights, but to support my dude, Caleb Plant, I'm damn sure gonna buy his fight. Because I want to be there. In fact, November is going to be one of the best months this year if everything holds through for fighting. Because you got the Caleb Plant and the Canelo Alvarez fight on the 6th. Then you have on the 13th, you got Benavidez and his opponent that had to get postponed since August. You got Raiz Aline and Gary Antonio Russell and who was the Fulton Jr. and Figueroa, November 27th. Or is that the 20th? I gotta check the dates. That is gonna be a hell of 5 months. And if everything holds true in October, that's gonna be a hell of 5 months. We're getting excited about boxing. I hope nothing happened to change that. I hope don't nobody catch COVID or don't nobody start cheating. You have to ask that question. When Latinos start to fight, you now have to ask that question. You make it bad for other Latinos. Because I'm not talking about every Latino. I'm not talking about Puerto Ricans for the most part. Right now, who's on the hit list is Mexicans. But I'm not talking about all Mexicans. I'm talking about those ones who know what the fuck they doing. They trying to play these racial games. You barking up the wrong tree. Then you gonna trot out somebody like Ryan Garcia with his young dumb ass. Y'all better get that boy. He gonna get hurt. Because he gonna get in with the right person. They gonna try to hurt him. You know, sit him down somewhere. Have several seats. Sir. But anywho, I'm gonna move on. That wasn't my caption for the show today. My show today, y'all saw it. I agree with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is somebody I rarely agree with. I don't like him. He play games. You know, he played money games. So it's not, he don't play the racial games. Not that I see just yet. I'm not saying he not above playing those games, but he play games. He has AJ in his stable. AJ is relevant because he holds 3 of the titles in the heavyweight division. I don't call him a champion. I try hard not to say it because I can't call a heavyweight a champion when you duck people like obvious duck, and you're not ducking them for nefarious reasons. You ducking them because you scared. How you gonna be a heavyweight champion and you scared? You shouldn't be the champion. But they holding on to that belt tighter than a motherfucker. Eddie and them. They avoiding Luis Ortiz. They avoid Deontay Wilder, hoping he'll fall off his square or, get sick or something happen to him where they can swoop in. Cherry picking. And you're the heavyweight champion with 3 belts. And you're scared. Your fight coming up this weekend. We're going to see what it do. We're going to see what you do. I don't have no horse in the race. I don't care who wins. Sometimes I want you to learn a lesson. AJ, I like you. You're a good person, but not as no boxer. Your credibility is shot. And that's one thing you don't want to lose in the boxing world is your credibility. So Eddie Hearn, a Matchroom, he's not happy with the WBC right now. And I tell you why, because the WBC is up to their old dirty tricks. If you are Mexican, and I will always say that with the WBC till they change. If you are Mexican, then you can ask the WBC to do anything, fair and unfair. Henley in the building was popping king. Speak, my friend, speak. Tell it. Yes. If you're Mexican, you can go to Mauricio Suleiman and you will have his full attention and he will be listening to whatever it is, dumb or smart, that you say, fair and unfair to what you say. He's going to cater to you. Can't be white, can't be black, can't be Japanese, can't be Indian, can't be nothing but Mexican. And he's going to cater to you. Why I know this? I take everybody at their word. I told y'all weeks ago with Oscar De La Hoya, and he's the promoter of Jojo Diaz and the promoter of Ryan Garcia. So there's no reason why that fight should be hard to make because they both work for him. He called WBC President Mauricio Suleiman, aka Mr. Canton. He called him and asked, don't order the fight with Devin. Now, I was watching Fred Barbershop Conversation last night. That was actually a good show. I watched the boxing section too, and that was a good show. And somebody made a point. How can somebody elevate their career when he's being stalled out? How is that possible? If XYZ has the belts and the pinnacle of boxing is getting those championship belts, but nobody will fight you, how do you elevate yourself? They're going to talk about your resume or you ain't fought nobody. Well, the so-called somebodies won't fight me. This is what Devin Haney is screaming. Devin the Dream Haney. This dude is awesome and young and can do a lot at such a young age. He fights like he got skills of a person who's been in the game for 15 years or something as a pro. He already that elevated and they scared to fight him. Everybody ducks this man. But somehow or another, he's supposed to have a stellar career. Somehow or another, he's supposed to show he is who he is. He the truth. He the dream. He's supposed to be able to show that because somehow he shows that without fighting the top tier fighters because they all avoiding him. All of them for the most part. Now, I don't think that Tank is avoiding him, but I don't know if that's something Mayweather wants Tank to do. But the rest of them, and y'all know I like Teofimo, they all are avoiding Devin Haney. Eddie Hearn said, this shit is not right. I put my stank on, I'm paraphrasing. They scared. Say you scared, yeah. If you scared, say you scared. Because that's what it is. Know how we know they scared? We know how they know they can't beat this man. We know Lomachenko avoided him. Ain't that the man? Ain't that the one y'all praise? Ain't that the one y'all put on the pedestal? The one Teofimo waxed and beat his ass? Lomachenko is the great, but he won't fight Devin Haney. And he the Matrix, but he won't fight Devin Haney. Then you got people running around, Ryan Garcia, Jojo Diaz, trying to fight eliminator fights. The whole point of the eliminator fight is so that you can fight the champion, which is Devin Haney. Y'all fight an eliminator fight, and then you don't fight the champion. You don't want to be the champion. You're happy where you are. You're happy at that low level. Too scared. You happy right there. Jojo Diaz just fought Javier Fortuna as an eliminator fight so that the winner can face the champion, which is Devin the Dream Haney. And he chose not to fight him. Making up some dumbass BS excuse. Since when is it not profitable to fight the champion? Because that's the excuse they saying. It's about the money. No, the fuck it ain't. It's always gonna be more money with the champion. The hell you talking about? Ryan Garcia ain't nothing but like Jake. He's akin to Jake Paul. He's kind of like him, a YouTuber that happened to box. That's what he is. He fought Luke Campbell. What was it, last year? So the winner of that fight can fight the champion, Devin the Dream Haney. And now all of a sudden he got mental issues. Well, stop drinking the herbal tea with Oscar Valdez. You won't have no mental issues. You ain't got no mental issues. It's called being scared. It's called wimping out. Henley said, and they called themselves champion. Yes. Yes. At best, they prospects. What are you going to do? Try to age him out? He one of the youngest. How you going to age? You age him out, you aging yourself out. Is that the plan? Now let's talk about what Oscar said. And I said this weeks ago. Oscar said, talking about De La Hoya, that is, we're going to wait till Tank Davis and Devin Haney move out of the weight class. Why? I tell you why. Because that's when we're going to go for the championship belts. Because we can't win them with them there. Talk about transparency. He basically saying he know his fighters ain't shit. Devin's a fighter. They are fighters. Why you can't fight them? Why you can't fight each other? Y'all in the same weight classes. The championship belt is the championship belt. Doesn't matter who holds it. Every one of y'all should want it. But Oscar believes that his fighters have to wait until a couple of those fighters move out the weight class. Then he think that they will be more successful if they do that. If that ain't the definition of being scared, punk, your own promoter don't have any faith in you. Oscar ain't worried about it for Ryan because he feel like Ryan bringing the dough. He bringing enough dough. That's what he said. So he not worried about it. Ryan gonna make money or bring in money, whether he fight for a belt or not. Ryan, what are you in boxing for? If it's not to be a champion, why are you here? Just do change your job from pro fighter to pro sparring partner. Just go around the country and spar people. Don't they pay him? Because you don't want to fight. And now the WBC is complicit in this BS of ordering them two to fight. He ordered Ryan and JoJo to fight. Why the fuck isn't the next move for either one of them to fight Devin? You order everything else, Mauricio, but I forgot. My bad. You talking about somebody black. I forgot Devin Haney is the black man. Yes. He is a black man. So I forgot Mauricio, the way his bread is butter. You got to be Mexican. That shit only makes sense to those particular Mexicans. It don't make sense to blacks. It don't make sense to whites. It don't make sense to real Mexicans. Real people that's keeping it real. It makes sense to those racist fools over there at the WBC to order a fight. And Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, he's pissed about it. He called it a farcical. And he's right. He works with Devin Haney. Devin is his own boss. Let's be clear about that. Devin Haney is very young, got his own promotional company, rich. He's doing fine whether they fight him or not. But he didn't get in this game to be avoided. He want to be great just like they want to be great. In order to be great, you got to fight the greats. The best fighting the best. That's what has to happen. But Devin works with Eddie Hearn. Like he's the network or the venue they use when he puts on the fight. And Eddie is pissed. And he said he's basically saying this is not fair. It's reported that Eddie went on a rant reacting to what the WBC ordered, and as he should. I told y'all what Oscar said months, like not even, I said months ago, weeks ago. He called it a duck off. That's what Eddie called it. He dubbed this whole situation as a duck off, and I agree with him. It is a duck off. JoJo, we already know, according to De La Hoya, you ain't fighting him. De La Hoya already put that out on First Street. So Ryan, what's your beef? What's your problem? Are you back or are you not? And the article, the guy who wrote the article, I'm not even gonna mention his name. He know who he is. He's biased. He said that Devin was boring. He claimed that there is no duck off. There's no other way to look at it but a duck off. You're ducking who you supposed to fight. You're fighting everybody but Devin. That's why Devin they say everything but let's fight right now. They say everything but that. Straight. I don't even know what to call y'all at this point. Pussies, punks, wimps, scaredy cats. You ain't a real fighter. That's why I have a problem with AJ. He's scared. This is not the business for the scared at heart. And you guys are proving yourself to be scared all the time by every move you make. You're not Floyd, and you never will be. So stop chasing this. I gotta keep my O forever. Keith Thurman was a badass motherfucker, still in my eyes, a badass motherfucker. He has an O. He all right. His life after an O is gone. I mean, he had an O. His O is gone. Life continues after you lose a fight. Ask Keith. Ask everybody who lost. It doesn't diminish you. But everybody want to have that Floyd record. It's not meant for you. You're not doing everything that Floyd did. But you want all his rewards without work. And you think your complexion is supposed to put you ahead of the line? Negro, please. You ain't even a Negro. You ain't even a Negro. That's a figure of speech. Just a figure of speech on my part. You ain't getting in the head of the line. We not letting that go down no more. This ain't 1921. It's 2021. Eddie's so right. I'm like straight team Eddie today. Just today. Don't get happy, Eddie. Because I'm sure you're going to mess it up. And in this article, the dude said Haney equals boring. Why? Let me tell y'all people who don't watch boxing all the time. Let me tell y'all a little secret. Anytime you hear somebody say somebody boring, they're only saying it because you can't do nothing with them. You cannot beat them. That's what losers say. Please believe me. Please keep this in mind. When somebody calls somebody boring, it's because they are a loser. They're a loser. What they want the fighter to do is plant their feet and stand in front of them and just let them hit. Let them get off something like a punching bag. There's a whole human in front of you. He's allowed to move around the ring. It's called ring generalship. He's allowed to put pressure or know when to hold him, fold him, walk away, and run. He's allowed to do all of that. It's called boxing. He's allowed to go in his bag of tricks and use all the fundamental skills that he knows. Feinting, working off the back foot, staying on your toes, full counter, parries, slipping punches, shoulder roll, whatever. If that opponent does that and makes you look mediocre, you then want to call him boring. That is a Mexican narrative. I don't hear hardly any other group of people saying that. And if it's some out there, y'all let me know. I don't hear white people saying that all the time, like white fighters. I do not hear black people saying that all the time. And if they do, they suckers. They cooning. Because it's a narrative that's mostly heat at black folks. Why? Because they superior, I guess, in this boxing world. You only say that to the ones who are superior. Not every black fighter is superior. Don't get me wrong. But the ones they call boring, have you ever noticed that they are superior? They have undefeated records. They will beat your ass. Hence, they're boring. Don't fall for it. I tell everybody, if you don't know boxing, you look at me for about a month, you'll learn a lot. And especially if you're looking at me a couple of months, you'll learn a lot. It's not cool when you hear somebody refer to a fighter as boring. It simply means to the fighter who says that, just think of them as a bitch, a whole bitch, and they scared and they cannot beat that person that they call a loser. They can't beat them. So they have to call them boring. So they have to try to besmirch their reputation in this boxing streets to have them like, desperate for a fight or can't get a fight. They have to stall their career out. Why? Because God forbid they have to face that person. God forbid Jojo Diaz has to face Devin Haney. He tired of all these little black fighters. He got his ass whooped, handed to him by a little guy at 126. And what he did, he ran up out of the division. Talking about Gary Russell Jr. Mr. Gary Russell Jr., that is. Let me correct myself. Jojo Diaz don't want no more of that. He don't want to go through that no more. And it's evidently clear. And if Jojo, if you don't feel that way, then why you moving like you moving in these boxing streets? Why Oscar said what he said about you? If you don't feel that way. Apparently you do. You scared to fight a 22-year-old man. Still a baby, in a sense. Ryan, you too. You young like that. Y'all grown men, don't get me wrong. But y'all still babies comparatively to me. Jojo, you a grown ass man. You in your 30s, right? And you scared of a 22-year-old man? What that say about you? What that say about y'all promoter who don't believe in y'all? Pretty soon it's not going to be enough to keep fighting tomato cans and fighting each other and avoiding people. You think you going to the Hall of Fame doing that shit? You think people going, every time they think of boxing, your name going to roll off their tongue? You're going to be forgotten real quick. The only reason somebody even talk about you now is because you dare to dream, take a fight as an eliminator, and then when you get to the precipice of what you was trying to do, here come your weak side. You backs out because you scared of a 22-year-old man. Really? That's what boxing comes to? You're a whole man out here. What kids? I think you married or you was married in your 30s. Scared of a 22-year-old. Jojo Diaz. Say it ain't so. Say it. Oh, no. Say it ain't so. They said this is their excuses. Once again, when you hear shit, he's not popular. That's what they say about Deontay. That's what Eddie Hearn said about Deontay. So Eddie, kind of you getting some karma back because you tried to do that with Deontay. Act like don't nobody know him. We know the champ. We know of the champ. We don't know him personally, but we know. That's what they saying about Devin. He's not popular. Well, how the fuck he gonna get popular if everybody avoiding him? Hearn, and he said Hearn need to match him up with some better competition. Well, if y'all the top fighters, What better competition? He is a champion. He can all he can do is look backwards. What he gonna look forward? He a champion. He looking back and he's stopping at number one, which is supposed to be y'all. But y'all don't want that smoke. And he needs more fights. As if y'all got enough fights. JoJo, you are well seasoned. Really, I can't give you no kind of excuse and no pass for this type of shit. You running from Gary Russell. You ran up smack up against Devin. The 135 division is tight. All them motherfuckers are sterile. The Lomos, the T.O.s, the Comeys, the Tank Davis. All of them is worth something. The Devin Haney's. The only people ain't worth shit. We don't know JoJo because you just got in the division. But damn sure Ryan Garcia, you don't even compare to them. You can't even carry their water. You playing games out here. You getting up on TV trying to rep your boy Canelo. You know what's going on over there. You know you drinking an herbal tea as well. But you're going to get on here and say he never cheated. How can he say that about somebody who never cheated? Ryan, where the fuck have you been for like 2 or 3 years? How come we know he cheated, but you don't? And you down there breaking bread with this dude. Don't eat no taco meat, because we're going to roast you too. If you come up, we're going to get you too. Just typical BS excuses. So when y'all hear them talk about a fighter being boring, it's because that fighter cannot beat the fighter they say is boring. That's the only reason they say that. You have never heard them say that about a low at the bottom fighter, like a low echelon fighter. You know, I don't even know if that's you put those two words together. But somebody at the bottom of the barrel, somebody ranked 20th in the ranking system, you will never hear them say they boring. But somebody who's ranked at the top, you will hear them say they boring. And normally, the person that they say is boring, they always look like me. They black. I'm trying to think. I really am. If somebody out there to know, I'm trying to think of somebody else that's not black that these Mexican fighters would say that they boring, but they're not. You know, I'm trying to see if it's equally spread around. I'm telling you, we're gonna run the WBC up out of here. Because we getting tired of the shit. I'm tired of the shit, all right? Hearn, this whole thing, he's saying is a farcical. Um, Oscar obviously got pulled with Mauricio. But hey, let's not forget, Oscar might be an American, but he's Mexican. And that is the requirement when you're talking about Mauricio Suleiman, president of the WBC, aka Mr. Cantone from Harlem Nights. That is his requirement. That is the requirement. And so I would just say that it's crazy. It's the biggest duck, as Eddie Hearn say, it's a duck off like none other. I am so with Eddie Hearn today. And I don't know how long that's gonna last, but I'm going to celebrate it because hey, I'm not a fan of Eddie Hearn. He make a lot of weird moves. The shit he complained about now, he has done. But right is right and wrong is wrong. He's right. What is the point of having eliminators if you're not gonna take take the fight with the champion? What is the whole point? Why did we have to pay money to go see those fights? They don't mean nothing. Why are we paying to see you at all? JoJo and Ryan, if y'all do not take this fight, y'all better be some undercard having people, because I promise you, I'm not. I am paying. You don't have no belts anyway, until y'all stop the madness. I'm not paying. I wouldn't pay anyway, because you're not real fighters at this point. I dub you non fighters at this point. Your credibility is shot. Your that's that credibility is shot, but it is your credibility. Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz is shot, and the only way to repair it is for you to fight the champion. All the shit that you took us through as fans, buying your bullshit, paying to see you fight, so you can get to the finish line and don't cross over. Really, we not doing that. You better get your ears together and stomp. You better get it together because your days is done. Y'all, while y'all are thinking that black people don't sell, or while y'all out here thinking that black people don't buy pay-per-views, keep thinking that. We can show you better than we can tell you. You're not a top tier fighter. You have not proved that you're a top tier fighter at all. You want to see what a real man look like in this boxing world, your personal life, I don't care. I'm not talking about you in your personal life and where you stand as a man. I don't care. But in this boxing world, I'm gonna give you all the smoke. You want to see what a real man look like in this boxing world? His name is Caleb Plant. He got videos all on YouTube. Go check him out. That's a real man. He's saying shit that hell, even other black fighters ain't even saying. That's a real man right there. He know he got to speak up. He got to say whatever. This is boxing. This is a warrior sport. It's all about talking shit. But at least he talking about factual shit. Y'all all but got him losing the fight. I say he lose if y'all cheat, which I have every confidence in the world to think that it's going to be some cheating going on, because cheating follows Canelo like a wave, like a little heat wave or a little bubble. They're his what they call they're his conscience. They just follow him. Like, think of him walking down the street and a little bubble like caption behind him. That's the cheating, the potential cheating. Same thing with Tyson Fury. Once a cheat, always a cheat. You didn't want to be known as a cheater. You should have never cheated. And there's consequences for cheating. So to anybody trying to make excuses, miss me with that. Henley said, that is the truth. It is a shame then. Took a white man to stand up and say what they need to say. It's not Mundo. It took a white man to say it. He had the balls, and maybe y'all will feel like he got the complexion for the protection to say that. We in 2021, y'all. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You got a lot of people with some social issues. They have a lot of inadequacies. Up is down and down is up. East is west and west is east. Y'all can't fall victim. Don't fall into those traps and fall victim to that nonsense. The truth is the truth. Facts are facts. The truth can never be wrong. It can hurt, but it can never be wrong. The man is a cheater. Just like Caleb Plant said, I dare anybody to come on here and tell me that's not true. I was watching the boxing section. I don't know who this guy is. He was on there. And I think his name was Troy or something. And he seemed to me to like to argue just to be arguing. He also seemed like what they say nowadays, clout chasing. It was funny. All these guys trying to talk sense to him. I was trying to get in because I wanted to say the man is a narcissist. We have a lot of narcissism going on in this country. It's sociopathic behavior going on in this country. And anything about that, you cannot fix that. That cannot be cured. A lot of them turn activists. They're for the most part anarchists. You can't reason with an anarchist. You know what the bottom line is? Narcissist people, or narcissism is, wanting everything to favor you. You don't really care how you get what you get. You don't care if somebody got to die, somebody get hurt, they lose their home. You do not care as long as you get what you think you want at that time. And it can be mediocre and it can be big. As long as you get what you want, you don't care who you step on. Those are narcissistic people. And that guy on that show was a narcissist, clear as day. He don't like accountability. He don't want to be held accountable. A lot of people don't want to be held accountable for the things they do. They believe their own hype, about themselves. They think we just clamoring to just love, as BFTV call them, cinnamon clitoris. I gives a fuck about Canelo. Who is Canelo? He don't mean nothing to me. You know what he mean to me? Actually, he means to me what I mean to him, which is nothing. That's what he means to me. The same thing what I mean to him, which is nothing, that's what he means to me. I don't care what happens to this man. He has no respect for nobody but himself. And he ought to be ashamed of himself. And then Ryan, you come out here capping. You are too light in the ass and early in your career to even involve yourself with that shit. You don't know what you could have been, but you already letting these older people who ain't got no scruples guide you into some bullshit. You gonna pay for that, Ryan. Ain't nobody gonna forget. And you gonna be like, can y'all stop talking about this? It was 10 years ago. We're gonna keep talking about it till you run your ass up out of here because you don't belong here. And yes, Caleb Plant slapped the shit out of Canelo. I've seen videos since yesterday. He was fast too. So while everybody, all the Canelo fans and all that trying to act like Caleb got dealt with, no, Canelo did. He slapped him and he was quick. And I mean, like with the naked eye in real time, you couldn't even see it. It did look like it missed when they slowed down that film though. And then they got them still shots. Hey, the camera don't lie. Bow down straight across the face. Canelo felt that. That's why he was mad. He told him the truth about himself. Treat him like he treated Floyd with no respect. Dog walk his ass, as you say, Caleb Plant. Dog walk him. I'm so anxious for you to wax his ass. I don't know what to do. But, all of that's coming. That's coming. I know I get upset, but I can't stand cheating. Y'all just don't. It's such a pet peeve for me. Such a pet peeve. Because you got to respect everybody that get in that ring. I don't care what color they are. But apparently, they do. That's why I don't want to fight Mexican. Could it be because you don't want to hurt no Mexican real bad, but you don't mind hurting white people? You don't mind hurting black people. And Mauricio is right behind y'all, just clapping it up. All y'all on the same page. We see y'all. As Biggie Smalls say, you see through, boo. You see through. I'm going to get off this. I'm going to move on. So Riddick Bowe, he pulled out of the celebrity boxing that's coming up on October 2nd. The tickets on sale now. It's going down at 8 o'clock on that night. The pay-per-view is $29.99. Lamar Odom was due to fight Riddick Bowe. Now they got a video out of Riddick shadow boxing, and people in the background like hyping him up or clapping for him, like you looking good, champ. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He looking worse than Evander did. No, he didn't. But somebody must have got to him and told that man the truth. Have y'all noticed that a lot of our old champions, especially black champions, they're trying to pull them out from the pasture to come back in and let some of these young whippersnappers pound on them so they can feel relevant, so they can feel like they did something. Have y'all noticed that? Is that something I'm seeing, or is that something everybody else is noticing? Because I noticed that. Jake Paul steadily calling out people that he think he can beat. Ain't calling out no real fighter. And I don't hate Jake Paul. Some ways he does good things. A lot of ways he's too much of a child for me. But I can't knock the good things he have done. If you fighting with him, more than likely you'll get a nice payday. I ain't mad at him for what he doing in the boxing, or if he getting dates and all that. Hey, he doing what he want to do. It's a free country, you know. But Dana White called his ass out, and Dana White said, "Pause. But you go pick on somebody your own size, pretty much. Matter of fact, go fight somebody like Silver. You know, go ahead and fight him. You know, he's older than you, but he's about as big as you. Jake Paul comes into the ring like over 200, right at 200 or something. Why would you want to be fighting somebody 30 or 40 pounds less than you? They have weight classes for a reason. This is why I say respectfully. And again, I don't hate Jake. I do not. But I say this respectfully. There's weight classes for a reason. And you are not a real boxer. You're entertaining though, but a boxer, you're not. But you will sell, and kudos to you for that. But fight somebody that's your size. You want to impress me, Jake, for real, for real. You want me to stop calling you a non-boxer or something, like you care what I just say. But a lot of people think that about you. If you want to change that narrative, pick a real boxer. Pick an active boxer. And don't go down to the bottom of the line, at the back of the line. Pick a boxer in the top 5 of the weight that you feel you need to fight in. Let's see when you'll do that. You're not going to do that. And then if y'all remember, the Triller event that just passed on the 11th, Belfort called you out and say 25, no, $30 million purse winner takes all. He called you out, Jake, and you looking for other people. So what is that saying? This an old man. He's an ex UFC fighter. He's been retired. He called you out. You ain't gonna fight him, Jake. You young enough to be his son, probably. He's from Brazil. He called you out. You don't want to fight. Why, Jake? You know, but hey. They getting back to Riddick Bowe. Somebody talked some sense into him and told him, look, dude, you taking a lot of punishment. He has an awesome record. He only has one loss and like 43 wins and 33 by KO. He has an awesome record. He was an excellent champ. He was an excellent boxer. And just he deserved his praise. He has a good reputation. Let that man be in peace. Riddick, you don't need to do all that. There's other things in the boxing world you could probably find yourself getting into other than getting in that ring. Somebody did him right. Somebody did a disservice to him by trying to even put him in the ring. But then somebody did a service to him by talking him out and telling him the truth. Because what we don't want to see is, y'all demise in that way. Y'all did everything for God and country. It's your time to rest, King, champ. Y'all want to take it to the house. So he listened, fortunately for him, and he pulled out. And they quoted safety reason. The celebrity boxing, they say they fight with gear, headgear, and bigger gloves. So, like, if you're a welterweight, you'll fight in 8-ounce gloves. But if you're a celebrity boxing and you're kind of like in that weight area, then I would suspect you'll put 16-ounce gloves or at least 10 or 12-ounce gloves. The bigger the glove, the softer the blow, supposedly, right? Um, so that's what they would have been fighting in, and it's to protect the fighter. But Riddick Bowe, I think he's too old, and I think that part of his life is behind him. So I'm glad somebody got to him. So then we go on to other foolishness, right? So you got Luke Campbell out here capping for them. I don't know what he trying to do. Maybe he trying to get another fight with them. You know, to make money. You know, they are happy in their little cesspool fighting each other. Luke Campbell out here talking about Ryan Garcia and Lomachenko are the best fighters in the 135 division. Hmm. So why do we say that? I don't know. Other than capping, only thing I can think of is maybe he want, like I said, another fight with them. Maybe he trying to spruce them up so he can get a fight so we can make it look like it's the fight you gotta see. It's must see TV. That's probably what he's doing. But how are they the best? Let's exploit this, shall we? How are they are the how they are the best lightweight champions? Based on what? Both of them are beltless. You can't be saying you the best and you have no championship belt. None to speak of. Lomachenko, Teofimo, he took that up off you. You are not a champion. You will always, we affectionately call all fighters champ, and especially if they ever were a champion before. But you're still an active fighter, so let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. You are not a champion right now. You have no belts. Ryan Garcia, what belt you ever got? What real belt did you ever have? You don't have one now, and you refuse to fight the person who does. But you're the best in the division. Hmm. I think Tank will have something to say about that. Hell, I think Loma will have something to say about that when it comes to Ryan. I think Comey will have something to say about that. I think Tio will have something to say about that. If Cambosos beat Tio, I think he gonna have something to say about that. I know Devin Haney will have something to say about that. So Luke Campbell, what are you talking about? You named two people who's at the bottom of the barrel that have no belts. Y'all see how this shit works? What is the angle? What is Luke Campbell trying to achieve by even pushing this narrative? Y'all just say what the fuck y'all want and think that it ain't gonna be checked. Like today was a crazy day of like little narcissistic people running around bumping their gums and shit. Because narcissistic people also have egos. They have big egos. It's not a stretch to think most boxers couldn't be narcissistic because they could be, but sometimes maturity, some of them got their head together. Ryan, you don't know where you at. You a kid being led. You have no clue. You're not even your own man. But you got two babies out here. And I don't mean that in a negative way to your children. The fact that you got two children and you out here acting like a complete donkey. You should be wanting to represent, yourself better because you are a father. You ain't a little boy no more. And you don't get a pass for your youth because you know exactly what the hell you doing. You just think everybody dumb. We don't praise y'all motherfuckers. And that's the thing that I can't stand. Y'all want us to praise you. You know what I mean by y'all want us to praise you. No, we're not going to praise you. Luke Campbell, I don't know why you want to get on that bandwagon. You getting on the wrong bandwagon. So both of the fighters you name have no belts, but they the top. Okay. Both are duckers. Lomachenko ducked Devin Haney. That is a fact. You cannot argue that down. That is a fact. We know Ryan has been ducking Devin Haney and everybody else. He'd rather fight a tomato can because, as Oscar said, it don't matter who he fight. He brings in the dough. So why in the hell he want to get in there with some real killers like a T.O., like a Tank, like a Comey, who he ain't gonna ease up on his little young ass. Both of them are duckers. That's a fact. Both of them cherry pick. If you're a ducker, you cherry pick. they exist at the same time. So I ask again, Luke Campbell, where you get your facts from? What are you really trying to do? You barking up the wrong tree. You trying to, as they say, young folks say now, you doing it for the clout or whatever the hell. You capping for these motherfuckers. What they doing for you? Remember, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and I'm not trying to have a war against Mexicans. I'm calling it like this is the play that they're running. This is what they're putting out. This is their play. They got a war against blacks and whites. Sorry. That's just how I see it when it comes to this boxing world. Anything outside of boxing world, I ain't talking about y'all. I'm not talking about football. I'm not talking about hockey. I'm not talking about golf. I'm not talking about nothing. I'm telling you what they doing in the boxing world. And they know who they are. If you're not Eddie Renuso or Mauricio Suleiman, or you're not a mover and shaker in boxing, and you're not complicit with this bullshit, then I'm not talking to you. So don't even flag me down because I done got a couple of trolls here lately. I just ignore y'all. But yes, they're making it a racial thing. I've been saying this for about a month. Everything's racial with them. You want us to bow down to you. Like that's what y'all think. I'm not gonna bow down to you, Eddie, Canelo, Valdez, Ryan. And what's the other or what's Ruiz? Now you with him too? I liked you. You look sloppy, but I liked you. I don't. I don't have no feelings either way. I would not be shocked if you popped too. And matter of fact, you and Ryan, I wouldn't be shocked. Birds of a feather, flock together. But we're not here to bow down to y'all. Y'all are not the second coming. We don't think y'all all that. We don't think you the best. We don't think nothing much of it. We think you a human being that's out here in these boxing streets, that's trying to make a name for yourself and trying to have a career and deserve to be respected as long as you bring respect. And when you're fighting dirty and you're lying to the public and all that, it's all kinds of things that's so negative that's surrounding you. Lying to the public is like fraud. Ryan, you're committing fraud against the public. He has never cheated. Where the hell you been? Everybody know he did. He know he did. That's why Caleb got pushed. That's why Caleb got pushed. Not because Caleb called his mom a motherfucker. He didn't even call his mom a motherfucker. And remember this, y'all. If Canelo called Andrade, he called him a motherfucker in front of his daddy. If Canelo really believed that saying motherfucker had something to do with Andrade's mother, and he did it anyway, why, just why, do he get to do that? Or can, as a Mexican, he can say what he wants to black people, white people, whatever, especially blacks, because we're inferior to him. Is that what he think? That's how you know it's bullshit about him thinking Caleb Plant said something about his mother. He just needed an excuse to get mad and swing on the dude or push him because he called him a drug cheat. That's what he was mad at. Shh. Everybody don't know that. Motherfucker, everybody gonna know now. You handle that all wrong. If you don't even have the fortitude to go ahead and take the consequences, because then you can be like, I paid my dues. What can you say to a person who say that? Hey, look, I paid my dues to society. I got punished. Leave me the hell alone. What can you say to somebody like that? You can't say nothing to nobody like that. But to Canelo and all the other Mexicans that Mauricio Suleiman cake for, they can't say it. They ain't pay no dues. So they want to act like we ain't see and hear what we saw and hear. As if we Bobo the fool now. Canelo, you better remember, if you call somebody else a motherfucker, you are fair game. Nobody was talking about your mama. To all the Canelo fans, y'all know damn well won't nobody talk about his mama. And Canelo been here for like 12 or 13 years, y'all. So let's stop acting like this man don't know English. He probably speaks perfect English. Probably if he took a test, a English test or a grammar test, the nigga probably scored like 100 on it. Don't let him fool you to thinking that he don't know English and he couldn't put his words together. Now, true enough, when you mad, you go back to whatever it is that how you was brought up. Like I know I pick up the language and the way that people talk wherever I am. I don't try to do that, I just do. But then sometimes I sound neutral. But I'm from Virginia, and trust me, when I get mad, that bitch come out. She come out full blast and all that. Shawty, what you talking about, Shawty? That jank was sweet, Shawty. I damn sure talk like that. But when I'm regular and happy and in a good, decent mood, I tend to pick up where I'm at. And I live in Georgia, so I be talking like them, chilling. Get them chilling. I be like, when I first got here, I was like, what she say? What they say? But when I'm mad, Virginia comes front and center. Oh, she be here. So I get it. I get it, Canelo. You got mad and you say shit like, I'm gonna fuck you all. He meant to say, I'm gonna fuck your ass up, Caleb. You and your motherfucking crew. That what you should have said, Canelo. But you was like, you know what? I fuck you all. Cause you ain't know how to put your words together. You ain't got that kind of experience. You know what I'm saying, partner? You ain't got that kind of experience. But you knew what time it was. Caleb called you out. Simple as that. He didn't show you no respect. Simple as that. Isn't that what they do with face-offs? Isn't that what you did with Floyd? Let's not forget. Isn't that what you? Then you call Andrade a motherfucker. But now you butthurt. Caleb don't care. I don't care. Most of the fans don't care. We already think it's gonna be a cheating thing. I think the scorecard's already written before. I already told you the magazine, the newspaper, all of that shit is sitting in the warehouse, ready to be distributed a couple of minutes after the fight is over. Because if Caleb don't knock him out, I just really feel like they're gonna rob him. So I apologize. I'm already saying that so I don't be butthurt the night of. Because we already see that's how it's gonna go down. Henley said he didn't call Florida. He didn't call Florida. What you mean? Who didn't call Florida? Canelo? Let me see something. I always wanted to try this, y'all. So let me see. That's the link if y'all want to beam in. We're gonna see. I just want to test it out. We might not get to test it out today. I'm learning stuff every day about this in this studio. So but Henley, what you mean he didn't call Florida? I was a little upset, I'll admit it, from yesterday press because I just can't believe the hypocrisy, the gall of people. Like, I can't believe that it's 2021 and it's a whole racial group in sports, a major sport in America, where there's guaranteed to be a very diverse group of people participating. And somehow or another, we can't, stop the WBC that hasn't they ain't getting no strict scrutiny from oversight committees and nothing is happening to them. They is straight violating people's civil rights and being racial. And we know this. I've been reporting about it. I'm not the only one that been saying that. And then you turn around and Ryan Garcia comes out and cap. Really? Floyd Mayweather. Who didn't call him? You talking about Canelo? I guess I'm confused a little bit, Henley. Like when you said he didn't call Florida, and then you said Floyd Mayweather. And truth be told, who Canelo fought? Really? I mean, most he got a lot of goddamn fights, but who all did he fight? He avoids people. He's the biggest ducker of all. He gonna say stuff like, "You just want a payday, payday." Guess what? Everybody wants a payday. It's called prize fight. So miss us with that one, Canelo. He's boarding. He's running around. Well, let me ask this question: is it any one, like just one fighter? It's two fighters, right? But is it the responsibility of just one fighter to make the fight exciting, or is that the responsibility of both fighters? If he runs, then my question would be, why you can't cut off the ring? If that's what you're saying, he run, even though he's not running, he's doing ring generalship. But why you can't cut off the ring? If he's boring, uh, let Ryan Garcia and JoJo Diaz said, then why you can't wax his ass and make it fun? He's boring. That's the only reason, right? Because he's boring, and boring meaning he can't fight anyway. He's boring. I don't want to fight him. It's boring to fight him. It's like fighting a kid. If that's true, then why you can't wax his ass? I'm sure if you just throw them hands and beat Devin Haney down, I'm sure that it would be an exciting fight. Why is it only Devin Haney's responsibility to make a fight exciting? I don't get that. They only say that shit to black people. I don't get it. But long as it's enough of us out here with channels like these, we're gonna be telling the truth because we want our sport to be, excellent and chugging along just like every other sport. This is our entertainment. As y'all know, in America, we all love vice. We all have vices, and most people vices is some kind of sporting activity or some kind of event. It could be singing, dancing, entertainment, acting, whatever. All of us have some kind of vice in that way, and I don't want my vice to be fucked up by no racist ass, you know, Mr. Cantone. So that's what I had to say today. Eddie Hearn, I'm with you, baby. Eddie, we agree. Eddie, just remember though, that is today and today only. Don't get happy. I got to judge you on a day by day basis. You don't get a free pass throughout. I got to judge you day by day. But today, your motherfucking ass is betting 1,000. You hit the nail on the head. I totally agree with you, Eddie. And I hope with all your millions that you can do something. Make something happen, Eddie. Make it. And then, one of the questions they said is why didn't Devin Haney write a letter or petition the WBC to order them to fight him? Eddie said it right. Since when do champions do that? It's the other way around. When have you ever heard a champion order somebody to fight them? Never. But once again, I forgot. Devin is black. We supposed to do supernatural things and do things out of order. Regular common sense don't is not applicable to us. You know, when you're a racist element or a racist entity, I guess these type of things can go down and these kind of questions can come up. I'm gonna keep riding them until they change or get somebody else to run the WBC. You don't deserve to be in my country. That's just how I feel about it. Mauricio, take you and the rest of your Mexicans and go back over to Rio Grande. You don't deserve to be in this country. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Again, let me throw the disclaimer. I'm not talking about regular Mexican people. I got love for regular Mexican people, especially ones who are honest and honorable. I got love for them. I'm talking about Mauricio, Suleiman, and the crew. If you ain't a part of his crew, I'm not talking about you. But you and your crew, Mauricio, swim y'all ass back over to Rio. Fuck out of our country. How do you say you could take the 3 pops back to Mexico? We don't give a shit. For $100 Monopoly money, where that came from? Anybody know? But anywho, that's all that was going on that I saw that I took notice today. It's got to be said, and we got to speak up. Shout outs to Caleb Plant for speaking up and being a man when he's supposed to. Shout outs to him because that took a lot of bravery on his part. And whether this 2 women fighting, if Clarissa Shields was in this predicament and she stood up on 10 toes and said the same thing that Caleb said, I would be saying shout outs to Clarissa for being a grown ass woman and being a grown woman when you have to, and a real woman when you have to. But it just so happened to be we talking about men right now, and like I said, shout out to Caleb. You was a real man. You showed the boxing community what a real man in the boxing world looks like. So thank you, brother. And when you know more or when you know better, you'll do better. And that's my time today, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me, and I will see y'all tomorrow.